thanks for joining us again. Back into 80s slasher territory with a little-known slasher, Jared. 1987's Slaughterhouse, which I remember watching back in probably about 89, maybe 90, when I was a kid, and thinking it was pretty decent. So it'll be interesting to reassess this one. But before we get to that, I have watched very little. I've watched the true crime doco on Netflix called Missing, the Lucy Blackman story. Standard.
You and your Netflix true crime.
Standard.
It's a love-hate relationship, isn't it?
No, it's not love-hate. Like, look, I understand.
It's just you hate it?
I hate it. I've made it clear I fucking hate it. Yeah. No, I think what it is there's not a lot of angles to go with documentaries. Like you're placing especially with true crime. If it doesn't have like a hook that we don't know who did it or something like that, then basically it's just the facts.
Yeah.
Presented exactly as they would be with any other doco. And so they're all very similar. And I think that's why something like Making a Murderer kind of hit like it did, is because it was kind of, everything was on a cliffhanger. Yeah. Everything was on a knife's edge. And
that had that kind of had the twofold attack that these guys were saying they were innocent, and there was things that supported that.
Supported it, yes.
But there was also things that supported the opposite argument. But also his story was fucking unbelievable.
Well, it was compelling. You know, he'd been to jail. Yeah. And then the whole first crime he definitely didn't commit.
The whole wrongfully sort of imprisoned angle into murder case was... Yeah, it was...
And the whole idea, did that turn him into a murderer? The fact that he went to jail when he shouldn't have? Or what?
You know, some of the best ones just play out in front of your eyes, like, without necessarily them particularly going for an angle from the start. Like, the West Memphis 3
the first Paradise Lost. Just Ray played straight out in front of you because they suddenly found angles along the way. And they didn't really have to search for it. It just kind of fell in their lap.
Netflix is just trying to force it all. They're just trying to force any story they can to kind of get one of these happening, and it's just like, Yeah,
it's a little bit sort of played out. And maybe I've got a little bit of fatigue in it.
I mean, the last one I saw that probably grabbed me was the one about the Golden State killer. I'll be gone in the dark. Again, because the story played out that Patton Oswalt's wife passed away before she saw him caught, but her work played a big part in catching him. So, again, that was a story that just they couldn't really anticipate.
One of the only ones that I found quite compelling, which was standard, there was one set in Times Square, the Times Square killer, and it was like similar to, produced by the same people who did the one about the Cecil Hotel. But because I didn't know anything about it, it came to me fresh. Yep. And I felt sort of intrigued by the whole thing because I knew nothing of it. Yeah. And I think if you don't find a story that every prick doesn't already know, which unfortunately true crime podcasts are rife, you know, and if you're a true crime fan, you are going to know 90% of what comes out.
Yeah, they've wrung a lot of that stuff dry.
Correct. And I feel like Netflix should probably take a break.
But they're not going to.
They're not going to.
Of course they're not going to.
Of course not. Well, it's still
because you sit there and rage, but you give them the viewing hours. So
I have a look.
Of course, they look at the stats and say, "Oof, we better do another 15 of these."
Look, and I will probably look at all of them, and then rail about how shit they are.
Exactly.
But you know, I guess a bloke like me is you're going to get me every time. But that's all I've watched. What do you got? Subspecies 6 through 9.
You laugh, but I have found Subspecies 5, so that will be on the cards very shortly.
Holy shit.
No, I kicked off with a bit of Lucio Fulci.
Lucio?
Zombie Flesh Eaters, and then I watched The Beyond. I had seen Zombie Flesh Eaters before.
Some of that stuff's a bit fucking...
Or Zombie 2, whatever you want to call it.
Some of that stuff's a bit fucking shaky, isn't it?
Well, I actually enjoyed it a lot more this time. I think some of the zombie sequences he's got, they're kind of... I don't think realistic is the word, but they're a bit more kind of scary because they do look a little more gruesome, and the way he had them covered in dirt and worms and shit, like Some of that stuff works pretty well, and I actually think he whips together a decent little bit of work. Of course, the little bloody the shark fight scene underwater and stuff is pretty funny to watch.
That is for real, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a stuntman that could hold his breath for a long time and fucking work with sharks.
And what sort of fucking shark was it?
I believe he dosed it up with something, with a sedative, and then had the little kind of wrestling. I mean, you watch it and he just kind of hugs it a little bit and then pretends to.
I wonder what sort of shark it was.
Yeah,
clearly not something that can rip your head off.
No. But the thing I love about them is watching films from that era where the Italians would just get everyone to speak in their own language because they were going to dub it anyway. So you watch one person who's clearly speaking in English, but they dubbed the performance anyway. And then you watch someone else who's not even close to what they're saying and find out, oh yeah, that was an Italian or that was a Greek or whatever, and they just got them to speak in their own language because they were going to dub everything anyway. It's quite funny to watch. And then I watched The Beyond, which some people like a little bit more, feel like it's a little more highbrow. I think it's similar sort of stuff. And I don't know, I found that one, again, the story is as fucking thin as a piece of paper. Like, there's not a whole lot there.
Is Fulci the same guy who did that one about the New York Ripper?
Yeah.
Because that's a fucking sleazy bit of work, I believe.
Yeah, that was alright. I didn't mind The Beyond, but I like zombie flesh eaters better.
Okay.
Finished up Secret Invasion.
How's that?
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, I was really looking forward to it because the whole concept of the fucking Skrulls, that they can just impersonate anyone, it's like, alright. You know, you can go angles like The Thing and Invasion of the Body Snatchers and stuff like you don't know who's, but she was a resounding fucking, just okay. Like,
was it a bore?
There were parts of it that were pretty boring. I mean, it's well made and there's a bit of cash into it, but they just didn't go with any of that at all. So I was a bit disappointed in that one. And then I watched Starman.
Oh yeah,
because I hadn't watched that, and
good film, I believe.
I would call Carpenter probably my favourite director, or one of a handful. I'd never seen Starman, so I saw it pop up and thought, yeah, I better check it out.
What do you think?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's funny that it was more, I wouldn't say a family film, but it was more kind of, there was parts of it that were kind of amusing and kind of tender. And
is this written by Carpenter as well?
I don't think so. I didn't check that one.
What's next for you? Memoirs of Invisible Man?
I'm looking. I'm hunting them down.
Jesus Christ!
I mean, I've got to dig back into Ghost of Mars and things like that. I've got vampires there to watch. So really, just kind of rounding out the resume.
Jesus Christ!
I have seen vampires before, but
yeah, and you would have seen Ghost of Mars, wouldn't you?
I don't think I saw Ghost of Mars.
Fucking hell!
I think I was
interested
in seeing Ghost of Mars, and then
I was one of the silly pricks who went to the cinema to see it.
I know. Yeah, your Movie Max card just about got fucking torn up after that.
Almost fucking disbarred Ice Cube. Yeah. Thankfully, I let him back into my life, and he repaid me with some quality. But fuck me, dead. Statham was in that too.
Yeah.
Shit. Almost lost him too. JC, you could have fucked me right over.
Yeah, that was it. That was all I checked out.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay, let's do a couple of up or downs. We've had some horror-related trailer content. First cab off the rank, The Exorcist, Believer.
Yep.
Directed by David Gordon Green.
Yep.
Written by Kenny Powers.
Fucking hell.
And it stars Leslie Odom Jr. I'm going to say this. It looks pretty derivative.
Yeah.
But the trailer was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
There were a couple of sequences there that felt kind of creepy. So maybe there's some atmosphere if they can harness the atmosphere of like the original Exorcist.
It had moments of creepy, but I tell you what ripped me right out of that was the voice effects.
Yeah. The whole distorted
when they're
voice.
Screaming the body and the blood, the voice effects were just kind of like, ooh, is that, if that's what we're going to get the whole way through, it might sort of take me out of things a little bit. But yeah, it's hard to judge it because it does look highly derivative of the original. Obviously, that's exactly what they're going for. They're looking for a twist on the story, but
the original's hard to top in terms of that creepy kind of atmosphere that they sort of create. And look, it's very difficult to top Your Mother Sucks Cocks in Hell.
It looks like
something to say to someone. I mean, to me, that's one of the great put-downs.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to come back with something to that.
13-year-old girl's telling you that.
I mean, what do I do? What do I say? Yours does.
No, yeah, I say, yeah, exactly.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I'm going to say...
The one thing I'll say is the Exorcist sequel that I've enjoyed the most was Part 3, which was very different, going with a different take on it. And this looks like... I mean, it looks exactly the same, but there's two. Look at this. We got two of them.
Do you think that someone will be wrestling with those two kids in the sewers at any point?
I fucking hope not.
Because these guys have not got a track record coming in.
No.
Real hot at the moment.
No. Yeah, look, I'm a bit down on Kenny after that one, so I'm not sure he's the man to be right.
Well, I'm actually quite down on Gordon Green too, because I feel like his directorial skills in the first Halloween were really solid.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of jettisoned it all.
Well, to be...
Or the style of the film perhaps just didn't work to any of that.
I mean, I think he demonstrated some really good directorial stuff in Halloween Ends. But the story, like...
What was wrong with it?
I couldn't get past it.
I mean, to me, it was pretty fucking tight.
It's like, you know, when you're fucking fuming and somebody comes up to you with something perfectly reasonable and you're just like, shut up. I don't want to hear it.
I know. You fucking blow your stack again.
That's what Gordon Green's direction was like for me in Halloween Ends. It's like, fucking not now. Don't fucking talk to me now. Come back in fucking 20 minutes.
Exactly. You blow your fucking stack once more because the bloke gets fucking so wound up about it. Oh shit! All right.
So, yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna say this one's a slight up.
Yeah, I'm mostly positive at the moment, and then we'll see where it goes.
The second one is Saw 10, which is directed by Kevin Gutierrez, or whatever his fucking name is, and he directed Saw 3D and Saw 6. And it stars Tobin Bell as Jigsaw. Honestly, Jared. Honestly. Why are we still making this shit? Like, really? Like, I'm sorry to say, but I thought Spiral was alright.
Yeah, I didn't mind Spiral.
And it kind of went slightly in a slightly different direction.
Yeah.
It was within the Saw universe, but...
Didn't quite hit it, but
Didn't quite hit it out of the park, but I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, these things were as naff as hell by the end of it.
I'll tell you one thing. It looks like... So, I'm sitting there going, why are we going back to Jigsaw? You know, questioning bits and pieces of it. The one thing I did like is it looks a bit more like it's trying to go back to closer to the first one, where it's like...
Yeah, where we've trapped a group of people in one particular room.
Yeah, it looks like he's giving the whole choice thing again, which we fucking got away from. I mean, the choices were just not even thought through. It was just...
Yeah.
What sort of trap can we fucking...
You failed to put the toilet seat down. Now you need your head cut off. Like, honestly, I mean, I had to snigger, though, when he goes, how long do I have to live? Months. I've still got a lot of work to do. Like, you fucking mate, considering your traps are the most intricate thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got contractors to get onto.
Months, I'd take fucking years to build one of those things.
Just that thing that snaps
people's heads. There's only so many hours in a day. But not only that, but he had the one where he had the guy in the barbed wire box kind of thing. You got to build the fucking frame for that. That looked like it had some welding involved. Like, shit.
You need professionals minimum to do some of it.
So let's be clear, you didn't get the traps in part 1 done in those months, let alone the fucking next 7 or 8 movies worth that we're led to believe you had a big hand in.
Yeah, this is down.
Yeah.
I've got no interest in seeing this. And I feel like, can't we just move on?
Yeah.
From this shit? Like, it was like Paranormal Activity. We finally deloused ourselves from that shit a few years ago. Can't we just do the same?
Yeah, look, I'm not as down on it. I don't really care if it's another Saw movie. The trailer didn't excite me, but as I said, I did find those couple of things that I'd been looking for the Saw movies for quite some time, since the first one, lesser extent the second one.
They pulled you back in.
Well, they haven't pulled me back in, but I'm like, oh, well, at least I can see that. And I've been hanging for that for a while. So I'm fucking right on the fence. It's a thumb up the arse for me.
No, it's a thumb that you have to cut off so you can release yourself from whatever fucking bullshit you're caught in.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, my thumb's been caught in one of those little sticks.
It's a Chinese, the Chinese finger trap.
Yeah.
Fucking stuck in that. All right, okay. Let's take a break, Jared. And here's the trailer for 1987's Slaughterhouse.
This little piggy went to the market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy has roast beef. This little piggy has none.
This little pig ran wee all the way home.
Meet the biggest porker of them all, my boy, Buddy. Buddy's not just another pretty face. Some say he reeks of class. Others say he just reeks.
Buddy's a good boy, but he has what you might call basic hygiene problems.
Sometimes Buddy likes to mess around. And sometimes kids play in Buddy's slaughterhouse. And they make fun of Buddy. But Buddy likes to play with his friends.
Let me go, fat boy!
Don't scare the poor thing, boy. Take off that damn mask. That's better.
Don't mess with his hogs. 360 pounds of Evermania. Buddy, he's going hog wild at the Slaughterhouse. You're next, little pig.
Slaughterhouse, 1987. Written and directed by Rick Rossler and produced by Ron Matonak, who produced The Arrival. It stars Joe B. Barton as Buddy Bacon, Don Barrett as Lester Bacon, and Sherry Lee as Liz Borden. Budget was $110K. Couldn't find anything about box office. I don't know if you heard anything.
Don't think it was a lot.
No. And since Joe B. Barton was only 5'9", he had to stand on a ramp in certain scenes in order to appear taller than he actually was. Alright, I'm going to come straight out of the blocks here, Jared, and I'm going to use the term underrated. Slaughterhouse was solid, apart from some shitty acting, because I'm not going to lie, I don't know where we got these people from.
It was an open call, I believe. They put it,
Yeah.
because they didn't have a lot of money, I believe it was an ad in one of those drama magazines.
Yeah, open call?
Yeah.
Didn't get the best.
No.
Didn't get the cream.
No.
I don't think. And I do not want to see fucking pigs slaughtered.
No.
So I've got more to say about that. And I almost turned it off. Because I was just like, what sort of cunt does this?
Yep.
Right? But, thankfully I let it go. And it's an entertaining, pretty simply plotted, well made for its budget. The gore's there. Has got atmosphere. I'm going 3.5.
Fuck.
I snake eyes this thing.
Oof, shit.
Because at no stage did I feel like I was bored, and I only had a handful of things I didn't like. Like I was totally into it. You know, I would compare Buddy to Madman Mars in look and stuff. I mean, I would watch this 25 times before I watched Madman.
Yeah.
This is a significant improvement upon Madman.
Oh, easily.
And for 110K, it looks really good.
Yeah, they've done reasonably well there.
And Rick Rossler, I give him props. Some of his direction's tidy on a budget.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. 3.5.
Directing fucking instructional videos for the bloody Navy or Army or something like that.
Fuck.
And decided he was bored shitless and him and his mate wanted to
Make a
movie.
Well, they did a bloody good job, considering.
Yeah, I think they did too.
So 3.5.
3.5. Right, I'm not quite there. I went to 2.5.
So you're nowhere near it. Is that what you're saying?
No. Well, it's pretty close. I mean, shit. No, I think it's good. There was points where I was hanging around a 3 for sure. I think it's as you said, it's pretty sharp for the lack of money. I think the idea is just reasonably sound, straightforward slasher. It takes a little bit of sort of Texas Chainsaw light. And I didn't actually think so much about this until J. Bell Briggs mentioned it in the little commentary he did on it. But he said it's kind of got... He said it's the scenes where the kids are involved, it's kind of enough of the city sort of thing to take a little bit of like Halloween inspiration and a little bit of Friday the 13th. So he kind of, mentioned that it took a little bit from all of them. It doesn't do it better than any of them, really, but for one of those slashers, I think the biggest downer on it is it probably came out a little bit late when things were on the downturn.
I could have seen this in like 83.
Yeah.
But in 82 being very, very well received.
I think if you're 100% right, if you switch places with Madman, I mean, I would watch this anytime over Madman.
This even has a slight My Bloody Valentine vibe to it as well.
Yeah.
The blue
I still
collar
don't get the whole Madman thing, so maybe not the best comparison, but I think similar. It's a reasonable one to make because similar kind of killer, handled a little differently. I think this one was much better. I think the as you said, for the 110 grand, they got some nifty little locations that actually look pretty creepy in the right kind of atmosphere. A couple of decent kill sequences. I've got one big issue with all of the kill sequences, really, but yeah, 2.5. I mean, you talk me around. I could be fucking talking
into a 3. I knew it. All right, straight into it. The atmosphere built up. The junked cars, the pig farm, the slaughterhouse itself, really tidy. Gives it a real Texas Chainsaw / Hills Have Eyes type of vibe.
Yeah.
And they exploit it, and exploit it well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to raise this early. They use the slaughterhouse in the kills.
Yeah.
And that's something that we talked about the other day. In the last couple of episodes, Slaughter High didn't really do it. Dolph Lundgren didn't bash anyone head in with some drumsticks. These last couple of movies, we've questioned why they didn't attach themselves to what it was actually about. This does that close to perfectly. It puts most of the kills in the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
All of them using slaughterhouse-based equipment.
Yeah, it's certainly kind of, and I mean that's as you said, we've spoken about that before. I'm like, yeah, there's no point making it the slaughterhouse movie and just having a bloke run around and killing people with a knife or something like that that we've seen before. Like, you use what you got to differentiate yourself a little bit. I think that was definitely a strong point. And as you said, a couple of the locations that they managed to find, like the thing with the little dock and that the kids are running around and the old cars, the old junked cars and everything, they work pretty well. Yeah. They give it a nifty little...
they give it a vibe, an atmosphere that some of these other independent slashers didn't have.
Yeah. And I actually liked that it took a little bit of the cues from the Texas Chainsaw, but didn't go full kind of grime.
Yes.
Like Texas Chainsaw has done fucking many a time. I not to say, that I don't like Texas Chainsaw. I think when that's done right, it's pretty good. Yeah. But I like the different take on it. The fact that they just sort of had the angle of the other people in town have a pretty good relationship with this guy, but are trying to buy his shit out from under him. And,
and he's unhappy about the craft of being a butcher.
Yep.
Is now being replaced by just like a meat grinder.
Yes.
And I thought that was kind of cool. And I actually thought that bit where he steps out and gives that monologue to them, I thought that was pretty well done.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was a cool way of sort of setting up the fact that these guys are at odds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason why they're at odds.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was handled reasonably well.
Yes. And that kind of carries throughout the movie. Lester has a few moments where he's delivering lines while the son is doing the dirty work, basically, that work out pretty well.
Yeah, and there's a little bit that's thrown in there that I'd forgotten about that I thought was pretty nicely played as well, involving the father and the son. And I'll get to it as we get along, but FX, overall, passable.
Yeah.
They're not Tom Savini.
No.
But
again, you got to give some of it a pass for the budget.
And they do wisely cut away from some stuff.
Yes.
And showcase bits where people fall down below the line of something and some blood just splashes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you do what you can.
There is a couple of times where I wish they'd done it a little differently in terms of the effects, but as you said, most of the time they shoot around it.
And the budget,
reasonably
for
well.
a budget that big, you're not getting Tom Savini, are you?
No.
Not by 1987, you weren't.
No. You're not getting close to that.
No, you weren't. Directorial flourishes. I mean, I don't want to call him a craftsman, but I'm going to say he's if he went back and did a 4-week course at TAFE, he's a craftsman.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Okay, 6 weeks.
I think given that he came from instructional videos, tradesman fits perfectly. He's certainly...
He's
an upper
just
tier.
beyond...
He's an upper tier tradesman.
He's an auteur. He's a tradesman auteur.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about
there's
that.
a couple of... and I will actually give you some stuff. Okay?
Hit me with it.
I'm not just telling you he was fucking good and then leaving it there.
Yeah.
There's a really nice sequence where the camera's in the Jeep, and the two are talking and the cop comes up behind them.
Yep.
And that's really nicely played because they keep the camera basically steady on them.
Yeah, nice.
They don't cut away.
A nice bit of tradesman-like
That
work.
is craft. Craft. I mean, that guy has fucking come in with bedazzled stuff and said, I can put this up for you. And the other one is where they're talking to each other about the party in the sort of, not the diner, it's the store.
Mm.
And the girl and her boyfriend are talking and it's being shot through the mirrors on the sunglasses wheel.
Yeah.
And he's in one of them and she's in the other.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking brilliant. Steven Spielberg wishes he fucking came up with that.
You're gonna have to give me some more to get an extra star out of me, I'll tell you that much. But
Think it over.
There is some nice touches, I'll give him that. Even a tradesman comes up with some really good...
He takes his 110k and it would seem, and this would be my guess, without knowing a lot of trivia, there was not a lot of trivia on it, and I thought Joe Bob probably would have filled in some of the blanks.
Yeah, filled in some blanks.
I get the feeling it was well prepared, well scripted, well storyboarded, or whatever the fuck, so they knew what they were, so they took the 110k and made it work.
Yeah, well, I think it was because they did it all themselves. Apparently they raised some cash through fucking family and things like that. Ran out of it before the end of the shoot, but yeah, I think there was some time spent to say, well, this is what we want to do, and time spent to work through it and get exactly how they wanted it. So there was probably a lot of thought. It wasn't a case where someone said, here's a job, here's the script, let's go and do it. It was them doing all of it.
Yeah.
So
we've written the script, we've prepared for this.
Yeah.
This is where our budget's going.
So, I mean, it was probably years out in his head. He's thinking, I'm going to have this one scene where it's shot in the sunglasses mirrors, and we're going to go back and forth. And
then, what we're going to do is we're going to send it to Steven Spielberg and ask for comment.
Yeah, we're going to send it to Spielberg and say, we're on your hammer, Steven. We're coming.
Steven doesn't even get it. He's fucking...
Yeah. I got an autographed picture of Steven in return that said, thank you for your fan letter. I get a lot of letters, but here's a...
I do my best to answer all of them.
And this is absolutely my signature, not...
Yeah, it's all fucking printed. And it's a sticker.
This says Steven Spielberg.
It's nothing like your signature, you asshole. Okay, I like the killer's weapon.
Yes.
Meat cleaver attached to kind of like an axe handle.
Yeah.
That's cool because cleaver's got bigger face.
Yep.
But axe handle adds, length.
But again, they take a bit of inspiration from the real fucking shit that's being used in the Slaughterhouse and lended a bit of that kind of
and I like the fact that
vibe of what they're talking about, the whole industry they're talking about between the players at the start and stuff.
And it's got a little bit of like, it's been sort of pimped out a little bit. Yeah. It's got like a little bell on the bottom of it and all this sort of shit. So I dug that. I really did dig that. And I actually think that sequence where he chases the girl into the bus at the start. Yep. Although they kind of give the game away, like they show him. Yeah. Which I felt like, hold him back a little. Look, we don't need to see him straight away. Yeah. But I think as the movie progresses, I realised, well, they were going to do that anyway. Yeah, they were going to do that, and it was still reasonably short and sharp there. But I felt there was a bit of menace and a bit of sort of creepiness to that. Yeah. Where he's advancing on her, just swinging it. Yes, the way that he was just kind of... But I mean, seriously, you've turned up at a place and... I don't know whether you assumed it was empty, but you realise there's a fucking pen full of pigs there, and instead of going, oh, shit, we might be on someone's property here, you pick up a shovel and start fucking whacking the fence, you asshole. Like, what are you doing? Oh, God. I'll tell you what, too, if I've got a lady on the hook, I'm not taking her out to a fucking disused slaughterhouse as a potential sort of romance. Yeah. I'll tell you what, why don't we go and have a look, smell pig shit. Yeah, I'm not playing fucking catch and kiss on a rusted out old fucking broken down bus. I mean, fuck. I don't know what's in there. Like, tetanus. There's fucking tetanus. Exactly. You need a jab. Exactly. You don't want to drop the tweeds and then sit down on a rusted spring or something on one of those seats. Oh, shit. Admittedly, I'm saying, look, I'm in pain, but we better get this done. You've got to get me out of the GP quickly. I need a fucking tetanus jab. Yeah, I'm not running around a fucking dirty pig farm in an effort to sort of get you hot. I mean, fuck. Yeah, because it appeared that's these guys. That's I mean, if you fucking ball bags got nothing else to do. Yeah. I mean, once that starts and we're running around and I'm getting mud on my shoes and things like that, I jingle the car keys and say, I got the fireplace going at home. It'll be nice and warm. What do you reckon? Let me tell you how it would work for me. I'd pull up, open the door, step out, my fucking loafers are in a pile of shit, and I'm immediately putting my foot back in the car and going, we're leaving. I think I just stepped in pig shit. I may be wrong, but I don't know if I want to... Can we cut this one short? Because I can't handle that. Matter back to my place for some hot chocolate. Fucking hell. Yep. But I've got to drive back with the smell of pig shit in the air. Exactly. I fucking stood in it. Jesus. So you're upset by the time you get back. Yeah, look I got a headache. You burn the milk in the cocoa. Things just continue to spiral from there. No, I'm driven back to town stewing in this and the stink of pig shit. And then when we pull up at my place, I go, listen, I've got a headache. I can't do this. Maybe another night. Then we cut to me in the morning, banging my shoes against the side of the house. And hosing them off. Old toothbrush. Don't laugh, I had to do that the other day, so fuck. Stepped in dog shit. Didn't I? Fucking didn't I? Yeah, so did I. Yeah, but did you wear them to work? There you go. I'd have been sitting on the back step. I remember sitting there at work. But I can't bring myself to put him back on. Even I'm not joking, like... I was sitting there at work going, what's that smell? What the fuck is that smell? You fucking realised it was me. You went I didn't realise, did I?
Did you happen to be in a lift with a group of people already?
Well, if I was, they dispersed fucking quickly, didn't they? You'd swear I dropped my guts. Strangely enough, I actually had to.
You hadn't dropped your own, but you were fucking wearing somebody else's.
I was wearing a dog's fucking guts. Alright, let's get back onto this movie. For a movie made for 110k, it looks very professional. It looks much better than... I mean, I would say it's just a hair below something like Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
in terms of how it looks.
Oh, definitely. I think that's one of the biggest strengths of it.
Yeah. It's really, really well shot. Surprisingly well shot for a movie that cheap.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially in 1987. Like, 110k in 79, that's cheap, but do a little bit better doables, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, you're at the back end of the slasher sort of era.
Yeah.
You've only got 110k to work with.
Yep.
I mean, fuck, if I could make a movie that looked that good for that much money, I'd be pretty impressed.
Yeah, pretty happy with that.
I had to laugh at this. I don't know why, but firstly because Skip seems to have a fucking smattering of hair at his throat. he's wearing like a, round neck shirt, and he's got fucking tufts of hair sticking out. Then later on, he's got it right here.
His throat. Get down to the barber and get a straight blade.
Dude, you're clean shaven. That means all the way down your neck.
Yeah. No good.
Secondly, they're always making a gag. The sheriff's always crapping on about how he can't drive. He's going to hurt someone. And he fucking drives up to the sheriff's place and just about cleans him up. He's coming out of the car park. And then when he leaves, he speeds out of there and just about runs over some old guy with a fucking walker on the side of the road.
Yeah, brilliant. There's a little bit of comedy in there.
This is brilliant.
There was a couple of... I had a couple of giggles in there.
Did you?
Yeah. When Lester finds the first bodies, when Buddy kind of shows him the first bodies, he comes in and he's like, "Oh, what the hell have you done?" And then he quickly sneaks into, "At least you got a couple of clean cuts."
Yeah, I know. He's pretty happy with the cut work.
You're not going to be packaging these ones up and putting them in the fucking in the shop.
We have not got
I don't think that matters.
We have not got paper big enough to wrap around these things.
And my other one was Murdoch when he's in the office and you hear him going, "I'll have a 20 on it," like putting his bets on, and then Lester calls him. He's Les, I was just here reviewing your legal documents on your place.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Sounds like you're very busy.
50 on the nose, you prick.
Yeah, I got a bit of a laugh out of that.
Yeah, I did too. We spoke about this before, but I kind of like that whole idea of being bought out.
Yeah.
And then I felt like, and I'd forgotten this, but Lester actually doesn't know that he's killing the kids. Like, I always thought him and Lester were in it together.
Yeah.
But we find out that Lester has no fucking idea. And Buddy brings him in and oh shit, you've killed these kids.
He finds out after the first two. And I like the way that he's like, they didn't do anything. But then he very quickly starts saying, Murdoch.
And then it starts to twist him towards killing
these are the guys that deserve it. Yeah. All that sort of stuff.
So I like that. I thought that was kind of an interesting angle to go with.
Yeah.
That the kids weren't really the issue.
No.
And Buddy had no comprehension of what he was fucking doing. He was just killing everything.
Yeah.
That came near the property.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like that. He was kind of like, there was no brain capacity involved.
No, he was just like, just as you said, anyone that was coming near the place post that, after watching the kind of first interaction, he just fucking just goes through. I actually enjoyed firstly with the fucking cop losing his hand.
Yeah.
When he has that kind of playful sort of moment and picks up the gun and pretends to shoot him with it, but the bloke's hand's hanging off it. And then he fucking dresses up in the...
Yeah, that was piss funny, that
starts
bit.
Cruising around in
and the way he's kind of like... He's got the fucking aviator shades on and he's fucking strutting around.
Yeah.
And he gets in, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
In the car and all that. I thought that stuff was... It was kind of that black comedy that I think maybe they were aiming for.
Yes.
with, you know, the bit at the start involving the slaughterhouse itself, the opening credits, I feel like they were aiming for some black comedy potentially, but I mean they fucked that up. Royally.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan was there.
No. Yeah, I actually like that, the chopping the cop's hand off and letting him just bleed to death. He's just bleeding into that grate.
Yep.
And then he just drops the hand and the gun next to him and fucks off, you know. Like,
and again, the dad comes out and was like, "Well, that's not, you know, that's not
the sheriff. That's the deputy."
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was all pretty good.
Buddy picking up Murdoch,
Was that Murdoch?
and squeezing his fucking head until shit just comes out of it, and then we get the classic Craftsman shot of the legs kicking in the air, and then the blood just going down down his pants, and then into the little, you know, drain. Craftsman.
Yeah.
Craftsman.
I've got a downer on that particular
Kill.
But aside from that, again, the setup was
tidy.
fine. The dad, again, giving Murdoch an earful while he's copping it and calling him deceitful and all this sort of shit. I liked all that.
Grinding the developer fella up into a big pile of fucking goop. I mean, that one was fucking ridiculous, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Like, and it was kind of like, that was what he was supposed to get. He was supposed to kind of be the bad guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was the one that had the background in the... You know, he was the guy that was doing things the modern way and, you know, the 30% fat and all this sort of shit. Using your machines, you don't get the clean cuts and all that sort of stuff.
So it was kind of...
putting him in the machine.
Karma
sort of
that he
natural,
got.
Yeah.
Natural karma. I actually really liked the two deaths of the two young kids who mask up. Skip's one's cool because you have the flash of lightning behind him, and then you just see Buddy for a second behind him because the window's kind of dirty and shit, so you're not getting a really great shot of him, but you just see the flash of light, and then you see him there, and he's behind him.
He's done.
That's really nicely played. And then old mate getting what looks to be some sort of hook fucking jammed into his scone.
Just whacked across the
side of the head, and he kind of gyrate. He's on the ground going like this. You know, blood's pouring out. I thought that was nicely played.
Yeah. Again, it was all kind of like what you said before. Just kind of everything said in that slaughterhouse kind of setup, using what was around.
Simple and effective kills. So you didn't need like, you know, a guy getting his throat cut with a fucking hacksaw and then his head twisted in half, twisted around the wrong way. Like, you didn't need any of that shit.
Well, you probably couldn't have afforded to do that anyway.
How much are you going to pay me?
Yeah.
10 grand.
How much? No. Well, you can get a bit of face blood.
Yeah. 10 grand's not getting you one set piece, mate.
Yep.
So I thought that all that stuff was reasonably well handled. And in the deaths and everything. And I really like when the final girl finds all the corpses. And it's a flash of lightning and you see the girl hanging there, and then he turns the light on and they're all lined up, and he does this little piggy went to market, this little piggy stayed home. I thought that shit was really good, and it was creepy, the way he kind of did it to her.
Definitely.
I also don't dig on fucking cutting my fingertip.
No, yeah, that was...
Motherfucker!
I liked that too, though. It was just ratcheting him up a little bit.
Yep.
Like, he wasn't getting so involved. He was letting Buddy do the dirty work while he was kind of, you know, talking shit to the guys that he was going after, and then he's getting involved in... I like his kind of descent into, oh, well, it's not the sheriff, but it's almost as good because you're his daughter, and then... That's kind of the first sort of thing that he does to one of them, really. Yeah. It's just like a small thing just to kind of start rubbing it in or whatever.
That had shades of Texas Chainsaw.
It did.
The little bit of torture.
Correct.
Being sort of done, but not too over the top.
No. Yeah, so I was...
Which I appreciate, and less screaming.
What about puns like, you've gone hog wild?
Classic.
Definite winner. Is that Craftsman work in the script?
Oh my god, yes.
I think there's another one somewhere.
Because that guy's pulling double duty, so he's got double the Craftsman credentials.
Yeah. I thought, they almost got another star out of me.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, that was pretty much it for me.
The last one for me was she runs Lester's head over, turns it into fucking mush.
That was pretty rough.
And then I did like the buddies in the back seat, and it kind of ends on like that freeze frame of him.
Yeah.
And also, I like the fact that he grabs hold of the knife in the sheriff's back and then just starts going.
I liked that one.
It.
I didn't necessarily love the ending on that so much. But again, the scene was effective enough.
Didn't like the ending.
Well, I didn't like the vague kind of...
there's no real ending, is there?
Yeah.
Buddy's... The sheriff's pretty much dead. Buddy's alive. Buddy's going to kill her. Where do we go from here? No.
Correct. All right. Not a huge fan of that.
All right, so on to the dislikes, Jared.
Could have done without the Slaughterhouse footage. The real Slaughterhouse. I mean, fuck, it just about turned me vegan.
Well, I'm going to put it to you this way. This is how I'm going to put it. I don't need it to the tune of some fucking bullshit music that sounded like a Naked Gun.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't need that. And as a fucking lover of animals, it's quite frankly gross, fucking disrespectful. Like, what the fuck are you trying to pull here?
Yeah, I think it was...
I don't know what you're aiming for.
I think it was poorly thought out.
But whatever you were aiming for, you didn't fucking hit it. All you did was upset people who would have watched it. Like,
well, they cut a bit out of it. I think one of the guys...
actually does kill...
One of the guy's wives told him, this is fucking gross, and you need to get rid of some of the stuff. So well, I
actually bet they would have showed the guy cutting the throats of the fucking animals and stuff.
Yeah.
And even though that wasn't there, I don't need to see a fucking animal stunned.
No.
And then hooked up by its feet while it's still alive, about to be killed.
Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, I'm not sure. I still kind of can't figure out why they decided that was the way to go in the movie. Yep. Like, you could have done something similar to that without necessarily showing it in all the detail.
Correct. So that was just fucking reprehensible as far as I'm concerned. And as I said, I almost turned it off. Because I was just like, this is bullshit. Like, I'm not fucking watching this.
3.5 though, Craftsman.
Once we got past that, we were into Craftsman territory.
Yeah, okay.
So, as a craftsman, you lose your craftsman certificate for that. Is that fair?
I think that's fair.
You were going okay, and then you've submitted your final report.
Yeah.
Is fucking horrendous.
Builders, they've come around for a building report, and they've just come to like the fucking doorway. Yeah. It's wonky or something. Like, what the fuck is this? What? Everything else looks good, but what are we doing here?
Yeah,
we can't take this off.
The last thing you gave, you submitted was like a fucking birdhouse that was, not put together properly.
Yeah.
So, you lose points for that. Acting.
Well, the acting, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I reckon Buddy's pretty good.
Buddy's got little to do, though. Like, he's
got little to do, but there is actually acting that he's got to do. Like, when, there's certain scenes where he's just kind of hanging around, he's fucking...
Yeah.
Like,
and he's not able to talk either, so that sort of hampers him.
I think his dad's pretty good.
His dad's okay.
I think the little group that try to buy off him are pretty good.
Yeah, they're alright.
I think the kids...
Yeah, the kids are horrendous.
The acting is... And it's funny, like, normally when you get movies like this, you find one or two of them that went on to pretty... went on to reasonable careers. I think there was two of them that basically worked
for a little bit longer.
I think the lead woman did a lot of stunt work.
Yeah, she did.
And she did a lot of, like, those Universal Waterworld and shit like that, those shows. And I think one of the other one might have done some soap work, but other than that, not much.
No, and they were very bad. And look, open casting. I can see how you've ended up there.
Yeah.
And you've probably got better than you.
Well, you might have had
your money would have spread.
You might have had some more talent coming through, and then they said, "How much?" No, I'm not doing.
So you're paying me in craft services, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably was the one thing that took you out of it.
Yeah.
The acting was to a pretty bad standard, especially the deputy. Whew. He was shit ass.
Yeah.
I mean, him trying to explain that he's not rooting the girl next door.
I mean, I guess you're nervous.
Nobody should tell anyone that I was out at a slaughterhouse in the middle of the night with another woman.
What are you doing?
Why are we all congregating in a fucking slaughterhouse to get laid?
He's taking his side piece out there. Is that because he thinks it's going to be the most, like nobody's going here? And then he turns up and he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Everyone's here.
It's a fucking town carnival.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, dear.
Don't get that one.
I'm not quite sure whether they opened with a quote from Ben Franklin.
No, I
quote?
can't even remember the quote.
There's only two things in fucking life that are, death and taxes.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Maybe I got it wrong, but whatever it was, it had fucking nothing to do with anything. Based on true events or something?
Yeah, the based on true events
Fellas,
thing was... Yeah, what are we doing?
Get rid of this.
Yeah. Couple of questionable choices.
Yeah, questionable choices there. Just get rid of that shit.
Didn't need it. Buddy growling and oinking. Don't know how much I needed it.
No, I didn't. I got sick of his shit after all.
I mean, the first... When it was still like POV and you're there kind of... they're playing around in the tetanus bus, and you kind of hear him going. I was thinking he had his fucking stomach was going or something.
He sounded a little bit like Madman.
Yeah. So I didn't need that. Apparently he did press in character.
Fuck it.
They said he did radio interviews.
No, he didn't. He did not. Oh.
He did radio interviews and only oinked and grunted and shit. So that would be interesting to see.
Well,
I kind of like that.
You're trying to flog your movie that is an independent. You don't put your fucking actors up there to oink and grunt like wankers.
Well,
it's okay for Jason to go on the Arsenio Hall show and not say anything.
Well, Jason
we all know who
runs
fucking
on the
Jason
board
is.
by then.
Yeah, we all know who he is. Not this fucking bozo. Look, he kind of was Leatherface light.
Yeah,
and there was no real nuance to any of it. His backstory was not exactly fucking world class.
No.
And there was a whole thing that I sort of think got jettisoned, but they said Buddy had a brother?
Yeah. We mentioned that once and it
Why
was
are we talking about his brother?
But they mentioned something about the brother and you're like, oh, is this going to come back?
Yeah.
Is he going to have another...
Mum died during childbirth.
Yeah, fuck.
Well, where was the brother?
Victor Crowley is obviously his brother.
Yeah, holy shit. Honestly.
Yeah.
He ended up in the fucking Big Easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I've got a question for you. I don't know why you'd get out of a car, run 5 metres and get in a cylinder. When you've got this slobbering fat ass chasing you around, and you go, you get in the cylinder, and so he can cut your throat.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Jared, but if I've got to get on foot, I'm hitting a sprint. And I can probably walk back to town. Because old mate is giving up.
Yeah, I reckon he'd probably...
He hasn't got the legs for it. Definitely hasn't got the legs.
You're going head to head. It's going to be...
It's a match race.
It's going to be a race.
I've got him.
Yeah. I would back myself.
And I think it would have been made a bit more sense if she'd have done the Harry Holt.
These days, I'd break into a cracking sprint and at the 50 metre mark, something would tear.
Yeah, but even then, with 50 metres on him, I think I could probably hobble and outrun him.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple...
It would have made more sense for her to do a Harry Holt back up the road and then he got back in the cop car and ran her over.
Yes. I mean, there was a couple of times where I was questioning the decisions. The other one was... I had to laugh when the deputy's side piece turns up and somehow can't tell it's not him.
Yeah, in the
through
car.
the fucking window. I mean, you can tell from the back. The frame is so different. Yeah. I mean, she doesn't appear to notice until she's fucking stuck her head in the window.
Yeah, but...
By that point, I mean... You could probably smell him.
She gets out and goes, "Hey, hot stuff." You are fucking way off.
Yeah, I pull up in the car and then I pull the handbrake on. I peek out the windshield and even from the back, the fucking silhouette.
I know.
I'm like, I don't think that's him.
Yeah. Might just turn around and leave.
Yeah.
You know what?
Or
The moment you get
on
out,
the side and go, ooh.
You know what? The moment you get out of the car. It smells like what you recently stepped in when you're around there, like you know.
It was like that bloke in the office the other morning that stepped in dog shit. And didn't know and fucking trotted through the canteen and up to his desk.
Well, you know, it serves you right for getting too close, you pricks. but, I mean, that shit is just laughable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy looks... he's fucking squeezed into that guy's top and it's all covered in blood. So, I mean, come on.
I think you can tell.
Oh, we can
Just a quick side note.
I mean,
my dog shit story. It's probably not as good as yours. But I was over at my parents' house and my mum was annoyed because one of the dogs had left something in an inconvenient spot and she'd stepped in it. So she walks in, blowing up deluxe. I sit there and break into massive laughter or whatever. And then I said, well, I'll bloody clean it up. Don't worry about it. Whilst I'm laughing all the way. And then I proceed to go and clean it up. But on the way, I step in the other dog's shit. And I don't notice until I've come back into the house. Thankfully, it was hard force.
Fucking hell. Oh, man.
But yeah, it wasn't the office. I didn't get out of the house.
No.
But it did come in the house.
I must have upset someone, but they weren't willing to say anything, I don't think. I think there would have been that, you know that thing where you go like this? Fucking something stinks around here, like, who farted or whose fucking breath reeks? You know that shit? Like those guys who drink like 3 cups of coffee, their fucking breath stinks.
Yep.
Like, you just want to say to them, can you just back up a bit?
Just have a drink of water.
Yeah, or eat some fucking... Take some gum or something like... You know, those
you had
motherfuckers...
no clue in your car until you fucking sat in the office.
No, I had a vague clue that something didn't smell right. But I did think maybe it was my own VO. And so I was kind of like, well, I'll get into the office and I'll spray myself with some fucking Brute.
Yeah. Did Old Spice will fix that.
It turns out I should have tipped the Old Spice on the bottom of my shoe, so to speak.
Good.
But,
excellent.
You know, like there are times where I have been in an elevator and I know that someone's cut one right in. Like, basically, someone has just shit in my face and I'm not going to say anything, though.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of, I feel like it's rude.
Yeah.
As rude as it is to fart on top of me. Why am I letting these rude pricks get away with this? I don't know.
Because you would like the same courtesy when you step in a lift smelling like dog shit.
You know
you
what?
hope that no one turns and says to you,
is that dog shit? My answer is no, of course not.
Yeah, you must have stepped in it.
Yeah. I know you are, but what am I? You just fucking get out, yeah?
Yeah.
So,
it's got to keep things, civil.
Yeah, you got to work with these people. Alright, so, moving on. Why is there jump cuts in the party montage? This is where the guy was showcasing that he didn't know how to put a birdhouse together because why are we doing fucking jump cuts when the jump cut is basically to like 2 seconds later? Like, I don't know. I think he's trying to spice that up a little bit, spice the party scene up.
It was hard to spice that up.
It was very hard to spice that up, and I mean the musical guests were talking about 3 out of 4 doctors, or whatever the fuck they were, at the House of Sorority Row. I'd rather listen to their catalogue all day.
I actually think, in some ways, they should have left it at the party and had them come. Because when they went to the party, I was like, oh, he's going to turn up here. And then we have the party, and they all... Oh, fuck, the power's gone out. And then the same core group that's been hanging around the farm goes back to the
slaughterhouse.
They go back to the fucking slaughterhouse. So I'm like, well, why do we have the party?
Yeah, I know.
Fuck, that was a letdown.
And to me, it would have been better to take the party to the slaughterhouse. Like have the actual party in the vicinity of the slaughterhouse.
Or, power goes out, we get a handful more. Oh, we're going to the slaughterhouse. Bring some fucking booze over there and we'll continue on.
Look, even though I had a bad
if
experience stepping in pig shit a couple of days before, I'm going.
I'm in. Yeah, exactly. But
I'm taking a sixer Canadian Club with me and not down.
Yeah, look, I'll come, but when the booze is out, I'm leaving.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going.
And someone's fucking carrying me from the car so I don't step in anything.
Yeah. I need to be carried like a fucking king on a chair.
I've had enough of this.
But also, I am not running around that shithole over there.
No.
Right?
Exactly.
Also, fucking, again, people playing pranks or trying to play pranks. Have you wankers not learned?
No.
This sort of shit is not funny.
Exactly.
And at one point, the bloke's up on the window and he's tapping the window and he's going, ooh, and I'm just thinking, what are we doing?
Yeah. You need to work on the material, my friend.
Yeah. Secondly, aren't you 18? If you were 12, I might go...
It was 25.
Well, whatever. I mean, fuck. Based on the amount of neck hair he had, he was about 35.
Yeah, exactly. One of my biggest downers with the kills.
Okay.
There's no real stalk or slash anywhere. Everything...
Yeah, very, very little.
Once they get there, everything seems to go really quick.
Yes, it does.
After he appears on screen or him and the father get down to what they're doing, they're the longest ones when his dad's talking. Everything else is really quick, and there's no kind of build up to it.
Yeah, there's no sort of... you don't see him kind of loitering.
Yeah, and a couple of times that's all right. Like when they're looking out the window and they're at the slaughterhouse, well, you're already in that mindset, well, they're in his territory. We know he's here somewhere. And then the lightning goes and that's quick. That stuff's fine. But it's all of them. All of them are really quick.
Yeah.
I feel like...
No tension built.
Yeah. Even if you... And I get that they kind of set up that that's not necessarily what he did. He just fucking bowled in and... But you still could have built something up. Like, you still could have seen him somewhere in the distance.
But from an audience's perspective, you need to build a bit of that.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a bit of a downer for me.
Okay.
That was probably my main downer on the kills. The only other real issue I had with one was the head squashing. I feel like that's where the bare bones effects were. Yeah. Probably, because they stayed on the head. And they're squeezing and nothing's happening other than
you see a little bit of blood, yeah.
Yeah, and I felt like, well, that's where you needed to cut away quickly and pull some other
cut back, twist the bloke's head and fucking all the way around.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
fold him in half for good measure. Something like that.
And drop him over there, hang him by his balls.
Something like that.
The last one for me was the visual effect where he shoots and it hits the fucking... It hits the cleaver?
Yes.
Holy Christ, it looked like something out of a really bad video game.
Yeah, or one of those fantasy movies where they didn't have much money to spend on the magic effects.
Yeah. And I actually think they also have a shot of lightning.
Yeah, there's two.
That was bad.
There's two where something hits. I think there's one where he swipes at something and it does it as well. Yeah. He hits some metal or something.
Terrible. Terrible. Leave that shit alone.
No good.
When you've got a $110,000 budget, you don't do that.
No.
You don't bother with that.
Yeah.
Because that's money that you don't need to spend.
Well, the sound effect got the
when you had hit something metallic.
Correct.
Which could only have probably been the cleaver.
Yeah.
How do you not hit him at point blank range?
Because he was so quick with his cleaver.
Oh,
it's like a lightsaber.
Come on.
Lightsaber and the bloody stormtroopers are trying to shoot him.
Have you got anything else?
No, just the ending. Just the vagaries of the ending. Wrap it up.
Wrap that up, yeah.
Yeah, wrap it up. I don't mind if Buddy survives, like you give us a bit of a sting when Buddy survives or something, but just let us know what actually happens there.
Yeah. Did they do the same thing with Madman?
No, I try to.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah,
memory as much as I can.
I think the house burns down, and then Richie, the
Madman, is seen walking out with a suitcase.
Yeah.
Looking for his next
place
to live,
abode. All right, that was Slaughterhouse. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Podomatic, and all other places you get your podcasts. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We're on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at thrillmepodcastau. Keep an eye on our Facebook page for details of the next film. But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.